One hit, that's all. Shohei Ohtani needed one more hit, and the cycle would be complete. The stadium knew it. The Dodgers knew it. Even the opposing pitcher knew it. But nobody knew how dramatic that final at-bat was about to become, because Ohtani had already collected 3 completely different hits. A single, a double, a triple. Now, there was only one thing missing, and the pitcher standing on the mound was determined to stop him. The story had started much earlier. Ohtani walked toward the batter's box for his first at-bat, with the stadium already buzzing. Fans were waiting for something special, but the pitcher wasn't interested in giving him an easy opportunity. The first pitch came outside. Ball 1. The next pitch was a fastball. Ohtani watched it. Strike 1. Then came a breaking ball. Ohtani waited. The pitcher came back with another fastball. This time, Ohtani attacked. Crack. The baseball shot through the infield and into the outfield. The fielder moved toward it, but the ball dropped safely. Ohtani raced toward first. Single. The crowd erupted. It was only the beginning. His second at-bat came several innings later. The pitcher had already seen what Ohtani could do. He tried to stay away from the middle of the plate. Low pitch. Outside pitch. Breaking ball. Ohtani stayed patient. Then came a fastball over the plate. Ohtani turned on it. Crack. The ball launched toward the gap. The outfielder sprinted. But the ball rolled past him. Ohtani rounded first, reached second, and slid safely double. 2 at-bats, 2 hits, a single, a double. The crowd was beginning to notice. Something special might be happening. But nobody was talking about the cycle yet. Not yet. The third at-bat arrived in the middle innings. Ohtani stepped into the box. The pitcher started with a breaking ball. Ohtani watched it carefully. Strike 1. The next pitch was low. Ball 1. Then came a fastball. Ohtani swung. Crack. The baseball launched toward deep center field. The outfielder turned and ran. The crowd rose. The ball continued carrying. Ohtani raced around first, then second. The third base coach waved him forward. Ohtani accelerated. He slid into third. Triple. The stadium exploded. Now everyone knew. Single, double, triple. Ohtani was 1 hit away from completing the cycle. The atmosphere changed immediately. Fans started talking. Teammates were watching. The opposing manager looked toward the mound. The pitcher knew exactly what was coming. Ohtani needed only 1 more hit, but that final hit would be the hardest one to get. Before we continue, make sure you're subscribed to Dynamic Baseball and turn on notifications. If you love Shohei Ohtani, dramatic MLB stories, legendary baseball moments, and unforgettable performances, Dynamic Baseball is where you want to be. Now, back to the game. The fourth at-bat arrived late. The crowd was already standing before Ohtani reached the plate. The pitcher stepped onto the mound. He looked toward the catcher. The sign came in. The pitcher shook his head. Another sign. He nodded. Ohtani settled into his stance. The first pitch came outside. Ball 1. The second pitch was low. Ball 2. The pitcher didn't want to give Ohtani anything comfortable. The crowd became louder. Ohtani remained completely still. The pitcher finally threw a breaking ball. Ohtani swung foul. Strike 1. Now the count was becoming dangerous. Cyclus. The pitcher stepped off the mound. He looked toward the runner, then back toward Ohtani. Everyone inside the stadium knew the situation. 1 more hit. The cycle. The pitcher started his motion. Fastball. Ohtani tracked it, but the pitch was too far outside. Ball 3. The pitcher was now 1 mistake away from putting Ohtani in an even better position. The next pitch came. Ohtani fouled it away. The crowd screamed. The pitcher wiped his hand. He looked toward the catcher. The catcher gave the sign. The pitcher nodded. This was the pitch. He began his delivery. Ohtani watched the baseball coming toward him. His front foot landed, his hands loaded, and then, crack, the baseball shot toward the outfield. The crowd exploded, but nobody knew where it was going to land. The outfielder sprinted. Ohtani raced toward first. The ball dropped. Safe. The stadium erupted. Ohtani had done it. The cycle was complete. But the story wasn't over, because the hit that completed the cycle had created another opportunity, and what happened next would make the celebration even bigger. The stadium erupted the moment the umpire confirmed the hit. Shohei Ohtani had completed the cycle. Single, double, triple, and finally a hit to finish the rare achievement. Fans were on their feet, teammates were celebrating near the dugout, and the entire ballpark was filled with his name. But the most remarkable part was the pressure of the final at bat. Ohtani had entered the box knowing that one more hit would complete the cycle. The pitcher knew it too. Every pitch had been carefully placed away from the middle of the zone, and Ohtani had to remain patient until the perfect opportunity arrived. The final hit wasn't easy. The pitcher tried to keep Ohtani from making solid contact, but Ohtani refused to chase. He waited, watched the movement of the ball, and finally attacked the pitch he wanted. The baseball found the outfield, and the cycle was complete. The giant screen immediately displayed Ohtani's incredible sequence. The crowd watched the highlights again, starting with the single, then the double, then the triple, and finally, the hit that completed the cycle. Every replay brought another roar from the stadium. The Dodgers dugout was celebrating, but the game itself was still going. Ohtani returned to the dugout while his teammates congratulated him. Fans continued chanting his name, but Ohtani remained focused on the game. Then something unexpected happened. Ohtani got another opportunity later in the game. The opposing pitcher stepped onto the mound, knowing that the pressure had completely changed. Ohtani had already achieved the cycle, so there was nothing left for him to prove, but that also made him dangerous. Without the pressure of chasing history, he could simply focus on helping his team. The first pitch came outside. Ohtani watched it. The next pitch was a breaking ball. He stayed patient. Then came a fastball. Ohtani attacked. Crack. The baseball shot toward the outfield. The crowd immediately rose again. The outfielder moved toward the ball, but Ohtani's hit dropped safely. He reached first, and the stadium erupted once more. The cycle had already been completed, but Ohtani was still producing. That became the unexpected second chapter of the night. The Dodgers moved the runner around the bases, creating another scoring opportunity. The pressure returned, and the crowd began chanting Ohtani's name again. What had started as a pursuit of the cycle had turned into a complete offensive performance. The single had started the story. The double had created the possibility. The triple had made history feel close. The final hit had completed the cycle. And then, Ohtani kept going. That's what made the performance so memorable. He didn't simply chase a statistic. He kept playing. He kept attacking. And he kept giving the stadium another reason to celebrate. After the game, teammates gathered around Ohtani and congratulated him. The highlights played again on the clubhouse screens, and everyone talked about the moment when the final hit dropped into the outfield. Fans were already sharing the sequence online. The question wasn't whether Ohtani had completed the cycle. Everyone knew that. The question was how he had managed to stay so calm when the entire stadium knew he was one hit away from history. That's the difficult part of moments like this. The pressure can become enormous. Every pitch feels different. Every swing carries more weight. One mistake can end the opportunity. But Ohtani remained patient. He waited. He trusted his approach. And when the right pitch came, he delivered. The cycle is one of baseball's rarest achievements because it requires a hitter to succeed in 4 completely different ways during the same game. A player needs power for the home run, speed and placement for the triple, consistency for the double, and the ability to simply put the ball in play for the single. Ohtani put all of those skills together, and then, after completing the cycle, he continued competing. That was the part the fans remembered most. The night wasn't simply about making history pressed. It was about what Ohtani did after history had already been made. He didn't slow down. He didn't celebrate too early. He stayed locked in. And that mentality turned an already special performance into an unforgettable baseball story. By the time the stadium began emptying, fans were still talking about the cycle. Some were discussing the single. Others remembered the triple. Many pointed to the pressure-filled final at-bat. But everyone agreed on one thing. When Shohei Ohtani is one hit away from history, you don't look away, because the final swing can change everything. If you enjoyed this unforgettable baseball story, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for dynamic baseball. We bring you dramatic Shohei Ohtani stories, legendary performances, unbelievable moments, and cinematic MLB content. And now tell us, which part of the cycle was most impressive? The single, double, triple, or the final hit that completed it? Drop your answer in the comments below.